Hello, good evening. Happy Thursday. Coming to you live from Chicagoland. I'm Julie Bartkus, workplace transformationalist and best-selling author of Childcare Business Success. And I've invited you to join me tonight. You may have just gotten my email or you may be catching me on Facebook, but I want to talk to you about re-engaging staff. And this is a critically important topic because a lot of times we get a lot of staff in place and those staff members are not engaged. So tonight I'm going to share with you 4 of the quickest ways that I have found to really re-engage your team. And I've been partnering with childcare owners and directors for going on 20 years now. It's hard to believe it's been 20 years, but going on 20 years now to really help them re-motivate, re-engage, and have their dream team in place. So if you're here, feel free to say hello. If you are getting a ton of snow this evening, like we're going to be getting over the next 24 hours or so that I hear, go ahead and let me know that as well. Let me know where you're from. Hey, Karina, nice to see you here. Kimberly, nice to see you. If you could hear me okay, give me an oh yeah. We're going to let some folks jump on because we just announced that we're going to be doing this. But we are doing videos at different times. So if you miss a video with me, make sure you check through my Facebook feed here so that you can access the other videos that I think are critically important to helping you achieve greater levels of success in your life personally and professionally. So tonight's topic is all about re-engaging your staff. And, I'm often asked the question, do I fire or do I motivate? Do I keep putting in effort? How do I do this whole thing, Julie? And what we do is when we talk privately with our clients, we really understand, where are you at right now? We get an understanding of where are you at, where do you want to go, and then we get you on your quickest path to get there. But over the years, I've heard, there's probably no stories that will shock me, that I've heard about childcare owners and directors dealing with staff in the childcare industry. And the frustration comes into being because you don't know whether you let them all go, you fire them, you start over. And it's true that your staff can make or break the success of your childcare business. So when I talk to childcare owners and directors, a lot of times I'm hearing, oh my goodness, Julie, staff motivation is just a luxury. It's like something we could do when we've got everything else in place. But we're really looking at it backwards. It's got to be one of the key things that we're doing right from the start so that profits aren't leaking out of our pockets and our program is excelling and growing and soaring. And staff, like I said, it's an essential piece. It's like 95, if not more, of your success is really dependent upon the staff that you have in place. And what I've learned, and you might relate to this, and if you do, you can hear me good. Okay, thanks, Amy. I was thinking you saying you can't hear me. I was like, wait a second, you can't hear me. You got to hear this. You got to hear this because it's all about re-engagement. And like I said, a lot of times we're looking at a feeling of desperation where we're bringing staff members on and I'm calling them staff specifically because they're not yet valued team members. And we can transform them into valued team members, but we have to understand and really know how do we do that. Otherwise, we're struggling with staff and staff motivation issues and staff retention issues for days, weeks, months, and years. So we hire a lot of people out of desperation. We need to be in ratios. We need that live body in place. So we get people in there, but then we skip the essential step of transforming them into a valued team member. And that's where a lot of the work that we do comes in, is really empowering owners and directors to reclaim their time, to stop the profits from leaking out of their pocket, and have a motivated team in place. So making the transformation happen from staff to team. And it is a process. You just can't call them team and say, woohoo, team, and have different people in place. It just doesn't work like that. But there is a process to go through. So tonight I promised 4 ways to re-engage your staff. If you're on this live feed with me, or if you're tuning into the replay and you feel like you have team members who are not engaged with your vision, give me an oh yeah. Hey, Mandy, nice to see you here. Amy, nice to see you. Kimberly, hey, Phil, see you here too. We still have to set our dinner date. Claire, nice to have you here. All right, we're getting some folks on board because I'd really love to hear your questions, to answer any of your concerns, and to help you put a greater plan of action into place. And if you like what you're hearing on this live stream, I'm also going to share with you how you can get more on this topic if you would like to. So, do you have staff who are disengaged? Disengaged with your program, disengaged with you, disengaged with their coworkers, disengaged with the vision, disengaged with maybe even relationships with parents. So there can be many levels of disengagement that become an incredible frustration for our owners and directors. So if this is you, let's all just kind of share common misery for a moment and say, yes, Julie, this is me. And then I'm going to talk to you about turning this around and the critically important piece that we're all missing when it comes to making this transformation happen. And we often work with owners and directors to formulate staff meetings and just the daily routine to create that re-engagement. So Amy's saying, yes, nice to have you here. Mindy, yes, with tears. I understand. It can be very tearful. All right. And like I said, if you have questions as we go through this, feel free to post those or concerns or anything that you can relate to. And we'll take it from there. All right. So when we talk about re-engaging staff, there has to be one critical piece that we bring back to life. And this is a piece that's critically important for not only re-engaging staff, but it's also really important for re-engaging parents as well with your vision. Because studies show that on average, anybody at any time can be like disengaged, 62% actively disengaged from either a service or from where they work. So that means that we really have to put some effort into re-engaging them to counteract this. So the biggest way and the fastest way is to create and establish emotional connections for them. Emotional connections to the vision, emotional connections to something in the workplace. And I'm going to give you 4 specific things that you can create these emotional connections with to get staff re-engaged. But your staff and your clients or potential clients and parents buy into your vision. They buy into your school. And it's based on how they feel. It's based on emotions. They justify things logically, but it's all based on the emotion connections, the emotional connections. And I have some male clients in our childcare program of excellence mentorship. And when we're going through some of these processes where we're reestablishing emotional connections, it can become hard to understand, but it's all about how do you connect their heart to what you're doing. And it would seem that this is an easy industry to do that in, right? Because there's a lot of heartfelt moments that happen through the day. But a lot of the heartfelt moments can come into place where they're triggers and people's emotions are flying and they're fear-based. So we've got 2 ends of the spectrum, fear and vision. What we want to do is create emotional connections to the vision. But too often in our childcare programs, all of the emotional connections that are happening and that are unfolding and that are taking place are all in connection or in relation to fear. Will people like me? Do they like me? Do they like, whatever's going through people's minds, conflicts with coworkers, just all different kinds of things. So when we talk about the emotional connection to the vision, is how do you connect them back to that place that's warms their heart and makes them feel like they are really part of something big. Do you want to know the secret? I'm going to share with you some secrets. If you want to know secrets, give me an oh yeah, And I'll tell you one thing, I thrive. I'll give you my secret. I thrive on interaction. So if you're digging what I'm saying, I'd love to hear your comments. I know you're probably going to take lots of notes, but I love your likes. I love your hearts. It keeps me going. It keeps me wanting to give you more. So it is something that I'm really built on, is the interaction. And this is why I love doing live events. I love speaking in front of audiences. I love being on phone calls with my coaching clients like Amy, and I love having our group calls with our mentorship members. I love the interaction. So the more interaction you give me, the more content and juicy stuff you're gonna get from me. Sound good? Okay, sound good. All right, Claire. The biggest way that you can reestablish and re-engage your staff with emotional connections, and I want you to think about a series of hearts. Well, I've got some little heart stickers in front of me. I want you to think about hearts. And the hearts are the things that you want to connect your staff with. You want to connect their hearts to the vision. But a lot of times their heart and their emotions are connected to the fear and the dysfunction. And I'll repeat that several times because that is really important to get, not only on an intellectual level, but also so that you can see it play out in your childcare program. The biggest way to reconnect with the vision and the hearts is through your story. When was the last time you shared your why with your staff? Your why. Hey, Brandon, nice to see you here. When was the last time you shared your big why? And a lot of times we forget what our why is. We don't really know what's important to share about our why or our story. So we take a back seat and we don't share anything about it at all. And then everybody is left just managing their day with stress and dysfunction being the guiding force. So we have to change that to where the story is the guiding force, your why you do what you do. And if one child misses out on the opportunity to attend your childcare program, they are missing out on the opportunity of a lifetime, because here's a secret. You want a secret? Give me no yeah. If you're not emotionally connected to your story, to your why, your parents and your staff cannot be engaged with your vision and with what you've created. They cannot be. So if you started your childcare program, you had a vision, you wrote it down on a piece of paper, in your heart is your why, because maybe you don't want any kiddos to suffer and have lack of quality childcare like your children had, whatever your why was. But then you forget what your why was, or you start thinking it's not that important, because you start swaying in the wind like a willow tree is the example I always use, and you'll hear me reference that on several of the videos. But you start swaying in the wind and you forget what your vision is. And then there's no leading force except for stress, dysfunction, fear. So now is the opportunity to sit back and go, Julie, I hear what you're saying about story. And your story is what emotionally connects people to your vision and to your program. So when was the last time you shared your story with your staff? When was the last time you felt the importance and the love for your own story? You see, too often it happens that we start judging our own story and we start thinking it's not important, and our own lack of confidence reflects in the lack of us telling our story. And there's something I share, we've got several mentorship members here with me, but there's something I always say, and that is that repetition is the key to success. So it's not about having a story, sharing it 9 years ago, and letting it just be with that. It's about what are you doing to grow it, to expand it, to feel it every single day. There can be tangible items that you place around your child care center that are a reflection of your story. And like I said, this is where we do a lot of our deep work with our mentorship members, is to help bring that story to life, because I love hearing the stories. I love hearing the story of your why and why you started your childcare program and why what you do matters. But it matters that you share this. It matters that you repeat this. It matters that your heart connects with it. Because if your heart emotionally doesn't connect with your why, your story, or your vision, nobody else is going to be able to connect with it either. This is really important to grasp, because so many people are looking for what I call Band-Aid solutions. You know, Julie, I just had 5 staff members walk out on me. I just had this happen. I just had that happen. Oh my goodness, I don't even know if I'm going to have a team in place tomorrow. And I get on a coaching call or a discovery call with them. We take 20 minutes and I reconnect their heart to their story and to their vision. And the next thing you know, they're back on fire, they're back in business, but they're doing it from the correct perspective. Because you can spend a lot of time trying to put Band-Aids over things. And I tell you what, Band-Aids can get super expensive. So let me hear from you. Is this resonating with you? So we have Karina, who said we just worked on this at the last staff meeting on our why, and then had a whole session on developing our core values. Now, you know, there's something really interesting too that you could do with your core values. Your core values should be in the story. A lot of people are not doing this, but when you look at your core values, they should be in your story so that they are remembered. See, this is the thing about stories, just like jokes, because people make emotional connections to jokes. They make emotional connections to stories. People remember jokes because they're emotionally connecting. They remember stories. You know, start looking at companies out there who do story branding, meaning that they have a story in place that they brand their entire business around. It is one of the most underutilized tools there is, but it is one of the most powerful, especially when it comes to re-engagement, is having that story in place. And if you're listening to this and you're like, Julie, I don't know where to start with the story, shoot me a message, private message me, and let's get on a discovery call, get you in my calendar to where we can chat for 20 minutes and get you on the right track so you can really rock 2018. The other option is we do have an amazing event coming up, the Create Your Dream Team Experience in Vegas, March 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, that I think is a do not miss event. And I know several of you are going to be there, but I encourage you to come and to be part of that event. So your story is one of the top ways. And somebody once asked me, Julie, can't I just have a really good product without a story? Yeah, you can have a totally good product and the product can speak for itself. Very true. But there is power in the story. It is not that expensive to start sharing your story. And what we want to do is have a story that is repeatable, that is duplicatable. So Sue, hey, see, you just joined, so I'm going to pick on you. But so that when Mary shares her story, which is the owner over at Sue Center, Mary shares her story and she shares it over and over and over and over again. Sue knows her story like the back of her hand. And when Sue tours, Sue can start sharing her story, start sharing Mary's story with everybody who tours, everybody who interviews, and it is powerful. Everybody who tours your center, everybody who comes in for a job interview should hear the story. And this is why I love the Montessori principles, because Maria Montessori was brilliant. She made a video talking about the Montessori way, sharing her story, sharing her why. And to this date, people are opening Montessori programs because of hearing Maria Montessori on a video, sharing her story, sharing her why. So the same thing can work power and magic for you. Let's talk about the next thing for re-engagement. So your story is critically powerful. You want it to be duplicatable, replicatable, represent your core values, and something that is repeated very often. You're relating? Give me an oh yeah, and I'm going to give you another thing. Maybe I'll take a drink of tea drinking some green tea. Is it wrong to drink green tea at like 9:30 at night? Yesterday morning, we did a video very early in the morning, and tonight I was like, okay, I'll wait till the end of today and do a video. Hey, Erica, nice to see you here. All right, so let's talk about the second way for re-engaging your staff. Hey, Amy, thank you for that. Let's talk about the second way. You ready? Who's ready? All right. So here's the thing, especially if you have younger staff in place, this is really important, but I find that it's not only younger staff, it's all staff, it's all people, it's kids, it's everybody. Everybody wants to be a part of something big. And I'll say everybody in a general, like maybe an 80-20% kind of way, because there are some people who maybe have just given up, they don't have the mindset, but everybody wants to be part of something big. So how can you help your staff feel like they are part of something huge, something that's unfolding? And this is where the vision piece comes in critically strong, critically important, is your vision has to be so strong and so big that when you communicate it, other people think you are crazy. But at the same time, it engages them, it intrigues them, and it makes them want to be a part of it. But it's got to be from an authentic and genuine place inside of you, where you are saying, oh my goodness, this is so important. This is what I want to have happen. And if we don't all pull together and get this going, there's going to be detrimental effects. But there's no sense of urgency today to do things. So we become lackadaisical. Is that a word still that we use? With our vision. So now is the opportunity to really think about what is my big vision and how do I engage people in that? And I said this on one of my recent videos, I really think that you can have a strong, compelling vision and you go out and you communicate that in the right way with your community. And guess what's going to happen is that people are going to become engaged with that vision. You can enroll people without even having a brick and mortar building in place. And you may have seen this dynamic if somebody gets really excited or they just start selling a product. My niece has just started selling Monet and now she's got a whole family on board with it because it's like the best thing ever. And Amber, if you're watching, I used it. Hope my hair looks good. But people get this crazy, infectious enthusiasm when they come into the energy zone of somebody else who has this crazy, infectious energy. And if you're not tapping into that power on a daily basis, I challenge you tomorrow to get really excited about something at your childcare program and see how many people you can invoke throughout the day to get really excited. And we see this dynamic in infomercials where people get super excited about late night infomercials, and the next thing you know, 100 people are buying the sideways circuit or the side circuit or the Brazilian butt or the Tony Little Gazelle. I've got right behind me is my total gym in my productivity room here. But we get really excited when other people have this incredible enthusiasm. And ask yourself this question. This is really important to think about. Do you like to be sold? Now, I don't know about you, but I like to be sold. When somebody really sells me in an authentic and genuine way, it moves me in a way that I can't even share, that I can't even speak about, because I love the process of being sold. Do you like being sold? Most of us do. And it has a big part to do with who's doing the selling, whether we like being sold or not. But if you resonate with the person through their story who's doing the selling, you're going to be like, oh my goodness, I'm all in. So the second way to quickly re-engage your staff is to help them feel like they are part of something big. It's what people want. They want to be part of something. But then you've got to think about your leadership style. And is there anything you do that takes away from your staff feeling like they're not a part of something big? So this can happen when you start managing your day by the daily stress and you lose sight of what the vision is, and your vision becomes very small because you're managing by the fear. So then your staff are going to lose sight of the vision too, and they're going to feel like, oh, it's all small stuff. And then easily if somebody comes and offers them more money at the center down the street, they're going to be like, yep, sorry, I'm out of here. And then you're going to think it's because they don't get paid enough that they left, when that's not the reason at all. The reason is because we have failed to make them feel like they're part of something big. Is this making sense? If you're watching with me live, give me an, oh yeah, this is making sense. Like I said, I thrive on the interaction. I do, I'll confess. But let me know if this is making sense to you. And if you're watching the replay, please know I do come back, read through comments, and check in on the videos. But let me know if this is making sense to you. We also love your likes and your hearts. And if this is really resonating in your core, I encourage you, if you haven't done so yet, private message me and let's get on the phone for a 20-minute discovery session that we're currently offering totally complimentary, so that you can figure out what are your next steps that you need to grow. Thanks for, I see all these hearts flying across the screen. Thank you. All right. So that's the second, is they really need to feel like they're part of something big. And there are easy ways to get to all of these things. So number one was your story. Number two is making them feel like they're part of something big. The third thing is, I'm going to play on the second thing a little bit, is that they have to feel like they're contributing to something big. How do we do this? So we have to feel like we're contributing to something big, because we could come in and feel like we're not making a difference. We could come in and feel like we're just a robot doing our job. And I wrote an article not too long ago, if you're connected with me on LinkedIn, called Your Staff Are Turning Into Robots, or Warning Your Staff Are Turning Into Robots, something like that. But I really encourage you to read that article, because there are lots of things that we do that demotivate our staff and disempower them, because we're managing out of fear. We're not effectively delegating. So we're delegating and then taking tasks back, or we're delegating and then complaining about the task and how the person isn't following through. So we're venting and complaining about staff members to other staff members. So there's all kinds of things that we do to take away the feelings of empowerment. And one of the classic examples that I use from years and years and years ago is that when a staff member has a day off, that's the day we go into their classroom and rearrange it because they're not there. And there's some things that they're doing that we don't like. So instead of sitting down and handling it in a professional way, we don't like that confrontation. So again, fear is coming into the picture. So we just go in there and manipulate the situation. We change it when they're not there, so that we don't have to deal with that conflict. And they come in and they're like, oh my goodness, something changed. Thanks for the oh yeah, Claire. And who else has joined us here? Eureka, I'm probably saying your name, but she's joining us from she say ACDC? Cool. I'm not sure where that is. Wait, gotta put on the glasses, make sure I'm saying that correctly. Yeah, from ACDC. I'm taking that's not the band, right? All right. So they've got to know that they're contributing. Now, how do we get them to feel like they're contributing to something big? It's the same thing that creates the sense of urgency, which is missing in our organizations today too. But this is by goals, by having goals. And one of the problems is that we're not communicating what our goals are to our staff. We're not keeping track of what they are. We're not tracking and measuring progress on goals. And staff aren't doing the same thing. You know, they're not doing that either. So what are some goals that can be set in alignment with the story, in alignment with the vision? This is really important to be looking at, is what are the goals that are the contributors to really making the vision come into existence? You know, and you should be looking at the vision and every single month be saying, oh my goodness, we're like one step closer to the vision happening. Oh my goodness, we are 2 steps closer to the vision happening. And there should be more and more and more excitement as the year's unfolding, because we're getting closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to the vision happening. And if we're doing this correctly, the vision is alive it's breathing, it's growing, it's expanding. So they need to feel like they are contributing to something big. Everybody wants to feel like they're making a difference. Everybody wants to feel like they're adding value. They really do. They just don't know how to get there in the organization. So it can feel a lot like they're just coming in for a paycheck. Or if somebody made them a better offer, they would go and just take that in a minute. So be mindful of this process. Are you sharing your story, sharing your why? Do they understand the big thing here that they're a part of, molding and shaping the young lives, our future generations? It's huge. And it can be personalized to you and your story and what you're cultivating within your childcare program. So they need to feel like they're contributing to something big. Questions, concerns, comments? Go ahead and leave them for me. And when I wrap up what I want to share with you and what I'm teaching, I'll read through and answer your questions. This is a cool opportunity, right? All right. The last thing that I want, this is a good one. I like this one a lot. This one is number 4 that I'm going to share with you for one of the quickest ways to re-engage your staff is giving them the feeling that their life is going to be increased in some way by being part of your energy, by being in your presence. And this is an incredibly powerful one. Everybody wants to feel like their life is going to be increased in some way. When new parents come to enroll with you, they need to feel like their life is going to be increased, like little Johnny's life is going to be increased. And if they come into your energetic zone and they feel fear and desperation, they're not going to be as inclined to make an emotional connection with you or to buy into your vision or to come in and enroll with you. So we have to give them what's called the impression of increase. And this is a fantastic tool for engagement and for re-engagement. So if we look at this in relation to staff, what does it look like? Well, it means that you care about their professional goals. It means that you care about what their vision is. It means that you ask them questions in relation to how you can support them in meeting their goals. It means that, they feel that by being with you, that their life is going to be better. There's an Arby's down the road from me, and I went there, I don't know what I got, maybe some cheese sticks. I went and got there, and then I took a picture of this because on their little glass doors while you're waiting for your order, it says, become a part of the Arby's team and be part of something big. And on one side, they showed the Arby's uniform, and on the other side, they showed like a nurse's uniform. So they said, by you working here with us, you're going to move on to do some great, inspiring things. So when our staff come into our childcare programs, when we hire new staff, we have to let them know, you know what? I hired you for the brilliance that you bring into our team, and I'm going to help you mold and shape and incorporate that and develop that into what your future goals are. And if you take this approach, you might have staff who stay with you twice as long, 3 times as long, 4 times as long, whatever it might be, because now they feel like their life is being increased. Because a lot of times it's a push and pull scenario, meaning they feel like underneath themselves that they can't communicate this, but they feel like, yeah, it's just a stepping stone for me here, and I'm just going to stay a little while, and then I'm going to move on to something else. But now, why not partner with them to let them know that by you being a strong contributor to your organization, they are going to be increased, and you're going to support them in achieving their goals. And this doesn't mean financially. This might just mean mentally you are going to support them in achieving where they want to grow. You could ask them what their goals are, ask them what they're doing to move towards their goals, and help build the excitement for where they want to grow in their life. And when you implement these 4 things that I've been sharing with you about re-engaging your staff, you're going to create an entirely different dynamic in your childcare program that's going to have great payoffs for you with your current staff, but also when they do leave, it's going to be like a tearful goodbye. They don't want to go, but they are going to be raving fans that you're now sending out into the community to spread the word about how fantastic you are to work for. And if future employers see this fantastic employee coming into their organization, they're going to be like, oh my goodness, who trained you? Who molded you? Who sculpted you? And they're going to say, oh, it was my childcare owner, my childcare director at ABC Childcare. And they're going to be like, wow, if they do this with the staff, imagine what they do with the children. So it's going to have huge payoffs for you down the road to really look at staff re-engagement in this manner. And it's going to help your staff really transition from just being a staff member into a valued team member quickly and effectively. And the things that I share with you can work easily for people who've been with your team that you've been maybe thinking, do I keep them? Do I let them go? But people can be transformed. And I tell you, when I work privately on site with my clients and I go to do a staff day where I'm working with the entire staff, I will ask the question, how many of you want to feel more positive and more productive coming into work in the morning? Every single hand will go up. Well, I think there was one hand that didn't go up in a group of around 120. But every single hand will go up saying, yes, Julie, yes, I want that. Yes, I want that. The good news is your staff, your team wants the same thing you want. They just don't know how to get there. And that's why your role is to lead them, to be that leader, to have the leadership in place at your childcare program that helps them move from this place of uncertainty of, yes, I want this, but I don't know how to get there, to a place of certainty where it's like, oh, this is how my light's going to shine. Oh, this is how I'm going to be emotionally connected. And it's not that they're going to really understand the words emotional connection, but it's something that they're going to feel inside of their heart that now they have with you and your childcare program and your vision. Now they've got emotional connections because they're bought into your story. They feel like they're part of something big. They can see how they can contribute to this something big. And by being in your energetic zone and your presence, they feel the impression of increase. Their life is going to be forever changed in the direction of better because they're in your energetic space. So those are my 4 ways that I want to share with you this evening on how to quickly re-engage your staff. And if you're just joining in, I hope you'll tune into this replay as we wrap up. But if you have any questions, comments, concerns, please go ahead and type me a comment and let me know how you benefited from this video, or if there are additional questions I can answer for you. And I'll also invite you, if you're an owner watching this or director, and you're confused as to where to start, because it's really easy when you're inside of the box not to see the label. When you're inside of the picture, not to be able to step back and see the picture clearly. So this is why you work with coaches. This is why you work with people who can see things that you can't see. So I encourage you to shoot me a private message. Let me know that you'd like to get on a discovery call with me, or make some plans and join us March 22nd, 23rd, and 24th in Las Vegas so that we can help you create your dream team. And there's going to be templates and formulas and things I'm going to share with you that are just going to knock your socks off. I'm absolutely excited for a phenomenal event. Confirmation for you. Great, Kimberly. You are so welcome. Hello, Shakia. Nice to see you. Kimberly, thanks for the, is that a high five or an applause for the hand? All right. Any other questions or comments? And if you've benefited from this, please make sure you give us a like, give us a heart. And like I said, I thrive on interaction. So when I know you're here with me live, that's when I get really jazzed up to keep giving you more and more and more. But I hope you'll implement these 4 ways, because this is what we've been working on with childcare owners and directors for going on 20 years, helping them implement in their workplaces to re-engage staff, to have a motivated, happy team. And there are all kinds of things you can do, what I call Band-Aid solutions, to really start trying to transform things. But you've got to dig a little bit deeper and really create re-engagement for your staff through emotional connections, which can happen in so many different ways. And there's a lot of ways I'll be sharing with you in March for creating those emotional connections. All right, any other questions, comments? Give you a minute, maybe while I take a sip of my tea. And I'd love to hear if this was helpful for you. And like I said, if you tune into the replay as well, which many of our followers do, leave your comments as well for me, and I do come back and read those, and I will answer your questions. All right, everybody, it's been great being here with you. If you are in an area where we are going to be getting tons of snow in the next 24 hours, be safe. And I hope you eat some good food and drink some nice warm drinks to keep you healthy and thriving in the process. All right, everybody, happy Thursday night. I hope you have a fantastic Friday. And if you're not yet a member of our Childcare Business Success group, please make sure you pop on over to our closed Facebook group. Just do a search for Childcare Business Success, and the group should pop up, and you can be part of our community over there. All right, Crystal, nice to see you here. All right, you're welcome, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Julie Bartkus, Workplace Transformationalist, Childcare Business Success Mentor, Coach, internationally known speaker, and best-selling author. I got to get my book down here so I could flash it and wave it. Best-selling author of Childcare Business Success. Question, Amy. What can we ask at a large meeting to help them be more positive and productive? That's a loaded question, Amy. You know what? I will do that. I'm going to answer that on the next video, if that's okay. But what can we ask at a large meeting to help them be more positive and more productive? You know, and one of the biggest things, here's one of the biggest things, Amy, maybe this will give you a little hint, is once you share your vision and you share your story and you share it in the right way, one of the best questions you can ask, well, there's 2 questions actually. One is, what did you connect with in the story? What were the things that popped out to you? And then another most powerful question is, why is our vision important to you? Why does this matter to you? So that they could take what you shared with them and personalize it to them. Does that help, Amy? And I know we've got a coaching call coming up because you've got some meetings. And so with the mentorship, we'll hop on a coaching call and get your whole meeting structure laid out. And you're going to be in awe as to how much engagement you have from staff. So I can't wait to finish chatting with you about that. All right, does that help? Good? All right. I wish I could see all of your faces. All right. Okay, good. Good. You're welcome, Amy. Glad that helps. All right. So now I'll officially sign off. Okay. And I know we've got coaching calls coming up, Amy, so we'll finish talking about that. But I think it's one of the most powerful interview questions you could ask people is, why is our vision important to you? What is it about our vision that's important? But if your vision isn't out there, or if it's not something that people are connected to, it's just on a piece of paper, you're not going to be able to ask that question. Even when there's behavioral issues going on in the workplace. We did an audio program a while ago, cell phones, thongs, and dancing on tables. And there's stories behind each one of those things in terms of experiencing that in the workplace. But when it comes to insubordination or behaviors that are not acceptable, one of the most powerful questions you could ask is, how is this behavior contributing to our vision? Or how is it depleting the vision? But if we're not talking enough about the vision, we can't ask these profoundly engaging questions that will reconnect people with what it is that we want to do and why we do it. So keep that in mind. All right, everyone, I am signing off. Julie Bartkus, Workplace Transformationalist, author, speaker, coach, best-selling author, childcare business success, founder of the Childcare Program of Excellence Mentorship. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. And if you have any afterthoughts, feel free to leave those for me. And I look forward to getting you on a one-on-one discovery call or seeing you in our closed Facebook group, Childcare Business Success. Good night, everyone. Thanks for being here.